listening to the Intestinal Fortitude Podcast Network.
The Wrestling Show.
Yo, boys and girls, we back again, and this is the Wrestling Show, and we had a lot of wrestling shit going for the last couple of days. So we had a couple pay-per-views, we had new champions. Friday night we got a new belt. Wednesday night we got announced that CM Punk was coming back, the worst kept secret in wrestling. Everybody knew that shit was going to happen for the new AEW show, which they need because they have a big roster and they need to put all the people that they're paying for on these shows. So good about that. But we had the Jeddah show, Night of Champions, and of course I got my crew. I got Donnie. What's up, Donnie?
Yo, what's going on? It's great to be here.
I got my girl RoRo.
Yo.
And I got Mr. Virus himself. What's up?
Howdy.
No. He's the new Roman Reigns. He shows up when he wants to these podcasts.
Oh, that's messed up. That's messed up.
I have been saving that one.
Have you been sitting on that one for a while?
Nope, he's the head of the table.
You make you a special belt now?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Thanks, RoRo. She's a good ball buster. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
she's great.
We're not gonna spend too much time on Night of Champions because that was just a basic show. Ain't nothing really exciting happened. You kind of knew what was happening before the show was gonna happen. It was an okay show for what it was. And all it was the last match more than anything else to me in my eyes. But we finally got who's going to be the new world heavyweight champion, and that was telegraphed as soon as this person was put even in the tournament, Seth Rollins. So we knew he was going to beat whoever he was going to fight. But it was
AJ.
Yeah, AJ Styles, especially since AJ Styles basically came out and said this belt ain't worth shit anyway, so it don't really matter who's winning in an interview a couple of days before. So that's what had me down laughing. But let me give you the thoughts. Let me get people's thoughts on the match. Aaron, what did you feel about this match?
I'll tell you what, I thought it was a good match. You can never, AJ and Seth have always put on a good match. No matter what, they're awesome. They're amazing. They're always 100% on their game. And that's why they are where they're at. Both fucking legends. I love the shit out of both of them, to be honest with you. With anything, I'll get sick of Seth in a while, I'm sure. And then it'll be his time to go away and then, heal up. But whatever. I thought it was a great match, man. I thought it was awesome. They put on a really good show. I wasn't sad who won it. I wouldn't have been sad if AJ won it. But, with him talking shit about the title, you kind of knew he wasn't going to win it. But for me, man, they put on always. It wasn't a 5-star match. Do you know what I mean? It was not a 5-star match by any means because it was very a very telegraphed match. Do you know what I mean? They did all their normal moves. They didn't really go off the beaten path or really blow me away. So I gave it a B.
Right. Yep. Donnie.
Where did he go?
Where did you go, Donnie?
He's having internet problems.
Oh,
he didn't pay his bill. They
RoRo.
slowed his internet down.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, while Donnie figures out his shit, how did you feel about the joint?
About the match or just all together?
The match.
It was an all right match. My oldest, he's a big Seth Rollins fan, so that whole time he was sitting there hoping Seth would win. And then I told him, I was like, dude, they're giving it to Seth. And then I was making snacks when the match ended, but I was in the kitchen, so it's right next to my living room, and 1, 2, 3, and my son's like, yeah. I was like, Seth won. He goes, hell yeah. So it made my son happy. It made my son super happy.
That's good. That's good. Donnie, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, because you had that went away somewhere. I don't know what the hell happened.
Oh
But,
no, I thought you were going in opposite order of introduction.
Nah,
So when you said Android first, I decided to check to see if the gardeners were across the street because I thought I heard them, but it wasn't mine.
The gardeners.
Yeah, today's the gardeners' time to show up. So I thought it was mine, but it was the neighbors across the street. So
God damn, Donnie, you rich, bro. You got gardeners and everything.
But yeah, no, it was a fine match. I don't think it was, like Android said, it was a 5-star classic, but I had fun with it. Seth was the right choice. He's the Raw guy after all. The problem with this feud was that it's Raw versus SmackDown for the Raw belt, which I think is a pretty common theme for a lot of the interactions between the championships here. But I don't mind it. Seth is the right choice. You needed to give him some kind of, prize for what he's done the last couple of years, putting, the company on his back. AJ's a capable component. I think they went with the, the match quality choice over the, the worthy choice because AJ just came back. But yeah, overall, I don't have too many complaints. Right person won. They gave it time. They gave it energy. Seth got the big celebration to try to, make it seem like this was a big deal. But yeah, overall, I don't have too many complaints. Great opener, got everybody into it, and the right person went over. So yeah, no complaints.
I forgot that was the opener. They had to do it as an opener because Seth had to leave right away because he's filming the Avengers or whatever movie.
They came out and said somebody made up with that shit. That wasn't even true.
Yeah, that was an internet rumor. I think somebody's debunked it by saying that he's actually finished his obligations on the show.
Yeah.
See, and that's what I was thinking, because if he had to leave early to get back to film, why was he on Raw right away? Like,
yeah,
he wouldn't have been on Raw so quickly if he was out still filming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a solid theory, but I think it's been debunked.
Yeah. So we had this sorry ass match: Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch. Trish need to go away. Damn.
Yeah.
That shit was just. And they dragged that shit out to 14 fucking minutes at that. Yeah. That should have been a 5-minute match. That was it.
I think the whole thing with trying to get Trish out of here is part of the reason why, if we're gonna, jump the gun a little, I think that's kind of the reason why they introduced Zoe into this, is that I think that's the point of this is to give, one, Zoe the rub because she's worth it, but two, it's to get Trish out of the ring as quickly as possible because I don't want to see her again. Yeah. I think that's the reason why they're hot-shotting Zoe into this, is because they've seen what Trish is doing, and they're saying, "Fuck this crap. We're getting her out of the ring." I mean, good God, that promo on Monday.
Yeah.
The night before. I mean, good God, that was one of the most cringe-inducing things I've ever heard somebody say. That promo was just god awful.
Obviously, Becky carried the match, right?
And,
I think her and Zoe Stark are going to do magic together. Zoe's amazing. She's really cool. I'm glad that, she's got the call up. But, yeah, Trish has got to go. Look, Trish is the remnants of, like, the Attitude Era where they had, like, a bunch of hot chicks and maybe 2 of them could wrestle. And Trish wasn't one of them.
She never really could. She never really could wrestle that well at all.
Lita carried her.
She was good. The only reason everybody says that is because she was good compared to the era she was in.
Yeah.
Right.
You look at who she was with. The only real ones that gave her competition was Victoria. Jazz to a degree, but Victoria
Lita.
was... let's not go down that route. It was Victoria. It was Victoria, Trish, and to a degree Jazz. I think those were the main 3. Mm-hmm. Ivory kind of, she held her own against the right opponent, but she couldn't carry it. Ivory
was Molly Holly a little bit after or before?
In between.
Yeah.
I think Molly was like one of the bridges.
Yeah.
And Molly's fucking amazing, by the way.
Yeah, she's great. I really like her. I was really into her. But yeah, like the late 90s into like 2002, 2003, I think that was kind of like when Trish was finally starting to come in. The only ones that could actually go were Victoria, Jazz, and Trish. And when you look at who came after her, yeah, Trish is, the one that kind of paved the way, but she really wasn't the best amongst the crop that she was competing against.
Right.
I mean, what's that? There was an infamous match. It was against her and that the girl that got called up from Tough Enough. I mean, that thing is
Was
just
it Jackie Gata? Something like that?
maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think it was like that infamous match where Trish was like really pissed off because everybody was like botching everything, including her, and they ended up botching the finish, and she just like was like, "Fuck this crap." I think it is Jackie now that you say it, but I don't really remember. It's like that was kind of like the area where you put them in mud wrestling matches because that was what they could do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but that was what they were for because that was all they could do. And yeah, okay, great, Trish, you kind of took us away from that, but you weren't around to enjoy the fruits of it because you look at who came after her. It was Mickey, it was Michelle, it was Beth, it was Layla, and who's that other one? Because there's like 4 or 5. Oh, Melina.
Yeah.
Melina, yeah, those were the ones that could actually work, but they never got the time because they were still in the mindset of, okay, well, this is still eye candy territory. But if you actually go back and watch like their matches, they actually could work and they knew what they were doing. Trish wasn't really one of those. She looked good compared to her era, but her era wasn't good workers. So I think we've kind of overrated Trish to a degree. Not saying she's not great, but I think we've overrated her to a degree.
Yeah. So let's get the woman's point of view of this. How you feel about this match, RoRo?
Becky Lynch had to carry that whole entire match. Like, I posted it in the chat. I was like, wow, Trish is so green. Like, ring rust is real. I don't know how many times I was like, yep, there's that botch and there's that botch. And it was, oh my gosh, that match was so hard to watch.
Yes, it was. 2 matches. You know what? I'm going to skip on here because it ain't even worth talking about. The Gunther versus Mustafa Ali match because that was basically a squash. And the Rhea Ripley.
Hey.
And an Natalia match, that was a waste of time because that was only a minute. So what the fuck are you going to talk about for a minute match? That was a waste of time even being on the goddamn show.
We can't skip over the Rhea Ripley match when we got me in here. You know that.
Yes, we can because she ain't do shit for 2 moves and that was the end of the damn match.
I actually, part of me likes that match was so short, just because my brain could not comprehend my 2 favorites wrestling. Like, more than a minute into that match, and my brain probably would have just been like, what do I do? Like, it felt weird when Rhea pinned Natalia for literally the only pin in that whole match. And I literally went, kick out. And I went, oh my God, I just rooted against Rhea. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to feel weird to root against both. But then that was the match. And I was like, okay, I think my brain's going to be fine with the short match because I would have totally just not known what to do. That's all I'll say.
That wasn't even a match. That was just kick. Squash.
I thought Natalia got hurt by the way she was walking around and holding her knee, but then when I rewatched it, I was like, no, because they didn't really communicate that she was hurt. Like, I thought maybe it was a quick match because of that, and I was like, no, because she, got thrown into the ring, or the ring post, got thrown into the ring post, and then it was done. You never see her saying, I'm hurt, or like trying to show off that she was hurt. So I thought she was hurt, but maybe not. It was meant to be short like that, and like I said, I'm happy that it was meant to be short because my brain would not have been able to comprehend my 2 favorites wrestling each other.
I did think the best part of the match was Rhea holding Dominic on her hip like a little baby and him pointing at her in the corner laughing.
Those 2 freaking crack me up, and we can even go into the whole Rhea thing too and Dom when we talk about AEW because we all know they're over in that company now too.
That was funny. So let's talk about this Asuka and Bianca Belair match. I'm finally glad that Bianca don't have the belt no more. I think Asuka is more compelling, and especially since WWE seems to only know how to book their heels, and they can't book their baby faces worth of shit. I think this is just a when it comes to the champion, they a heel champion company, and it shows how they put so much money and time in the Buckethead at the end of the show. We'll talk about later on. But yeah, this was a good match. I'm glad that Asuka won. Bianca, she had a year and a few days. She had it long enough. They put on a decent match. It was no messed up moves or anything. Everything just moved silky smooth. They didn't waste any time. It was quick. Even though it was a 15-minute match, it didn't feel like a 15-minute match in my eyes. So I feel like the right person won. So, Donnie.
Yeah, I agree. Technically compelling. I don't really have many complaints with the layout of it all. Inventive finish. I've never really seen that. I don't think I've never seen anybody take that kind of a way out of it to do the title switch. So props to that. I do like the Mania match better. I do think that one was a little bit more harder hitting, and it told a little better story. I don't know how I feel about the title change. I'm still kind of adjusting to it because over time I've kind of gone back and forth over it. I mean, yeah, it's time. I don't really care to see Bianca do it, but I think a lot of I've seen a lot of people saying that a lot of what was going on with Bianca and how her representation in the community was like inspiring others because she was this dominant, non-white champion. And I understand where they're coming from. I mean, I'm not part of that community. I can't speak to it, but as just as a general wrestling fan, I would really want her to do more than, ooh, I'm just strong black woman. Like that's kind of all I've seen her as pretty much.
I want her to turn heel. That's what I want her to do, turn back heel.
Yeah,
That's just
I've gone back and I've seen some of her work when she was as a heel in NXT, and I don't know if it's better than what she is as a face here because she's just kind of overpowering everybody, which I don't really see as like the face kind of a thing to do. So it just feels weird for me, I don't know if that's really kind of like the way that I would do it, but I mean, I'm not a wrestling promoter, so who knows, but yeah, overall fine match. I don't think it was the best of them. I think we're probably going to get one more, like a stipulation blow off at either, well, SummerSlam's next up, so I think it would be too early to do it for Money in the Bank. I think SummerSlam will probably be the place to finish everything between the two. But yeah, as a wrestling fan, I think the time was right to take it off of her. I don't have any complaints on that. Great finish. Technically it was fun to watch. I do think the Mania match was better, but overall, no real complaints here.
Right. Aaron?
You can never, Asuka's going to always put on a good match. And I think we're past the point of where either one of them, or not either one of them, but she's not green no more. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And for a minute there, I was like, I kind of worried about her, and I kind of worried that they just put the belt on her just kind of for some of the reasons that Dawn mentioned. It's like strong black woman, and that's like, and I get that, and that's a good angle, and that's not a bad thing, but it's just like, was it too soon? But I really like how far Bianca's come. But, champs get stagnant no matter what, right? And
right.
It was time to take the title off of her. And again, like my biggest thing is like, go away for a while, let me miss you, go heal up, go get some rest. You know what I mean? And then come back as a fucking heel. Let's see that. Switch it up. Give some more dimensions to your character. But I think the right person won. I didn't hate the match at all. I do like how Asuka spit on her hand and rubbed it in her eyes. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty inventive. But, all in all for me, man, I mean, again, not a perfect match. And again, this is kind of my problem with WWE. So much of their shit's telegraphed. You know what I mean? They don't really surprise me with a lot of their stuff. So again, another very telegraphed match, but you can't take any away from these two ladies. For me, it was, again, another probably 4 out of 5. There was no botches. Wasn't like the other, not the Natalya match, but the Trish Stratus match, which was like a fucking D-. You know what I mean? Like this one was about I would say about a B.
Yeah. Somebody is muted. Are you back, RoRo?
I'm here. No, I've been here the whole time.
Okay.
I come from the call center life. We mute when we're not talking.
And I mute just because my wife's coming in and out of the room. You know, that's all.
So RoRo, about this match.
It was about dang time Bianca lost. I think literally everyone in my household, my husband, my son, and I, the moment Asuka won, we went, fucking finally! Like, arms up in the sky, like, fucking finally, she needed to lose it. And
Yep.
I think if they do drag it out to, because they won't do Money in the Bank, because everyone's trying to do the whole Money in the Bank match, SummerSlam would be a good chance, a good shot for the last of it. But then whoever wins Money in the Bank could possibly cash out at SummerSlam.
Right.
Or do the whole stipulation rule where they cash in the money, the contract during the match and turn it into a triple threat.
Maybe. Yep. We'll see what they do with that. And we had Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. I'm already sick of Cody Rhodes already. They should have put the belt on him at WrestleMania. Now they trying to make him turn him into John Cena 3.0. The shit's not working for me. I don't care what nobody said. He should have just toughed it out in AEW and called it a day. He was an EVP. He could have changed the stipulation and could have went for the title once the crowds came back. But he just didn't want to be patient. Now he getting his ass whooped by Brock Lesnar every other week. Even though they had him in a Kimura lock and he was in a metal cast, so if you putting somebody in a damn lock, it ain't gonna hurt. So the believability in my eyes just totally went out once I really sat back and thought about this shit. It was just a glorified spot match. All they was trying to do was that Brock and Cena shit they did like almost 10 years ago. They just trying to redo that shit all over again. And now since he ain't even going for the title and the bloodline storyline that's going on right now, I don't need to point at even why Cody is on my TV now. So that's just how I feel about the shit. So, RoRo, how you feel about the match?
It felt like a filler match. Like this whole entire pay-per-view was kind of like a build up to the stinking tag match at the end, and at least Brock is wrestling more because he's part-time too, so it's nice to see him. And Cody's air quote broken arm, like, I don't know, it just, the whole pay-per-view was kind of like a blech to me.
Donnie?
Yeah, I really wasn't feeling this one. Cody coming in with an injury, I don't know how I feel about that. I still haven't really. I was going to say this. Have we even actually found out why Brock turned on?
Nope. Not at all.
Why are they still fighting?
We don't know. They never explained shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm trying to think back, and I can't even remember if they've actually said why they're fighting.
No.
I have my perspective.
Okay. You finished, Donnie?
I was gonna say, it really didn't work for me. The hope spot.
Okay.
So for me, man, like, I feel like that Cody, like, I'm a little opposite of you, man. They need a super face. They always need a super face. And whether, whoever it was before, Cena, Cena's been doing it forever. They had a super face before him. Cena's been kind of playing it, and they'll have some fill-in roles, whoever does the super face role. But I think Cody's the new super face. Like, you will grow to hate him. He will eventually get booed, but then you'll go to like him again, and he'll come back, and everybody will cheer him. But Cody, to me, is essential in the WWE. We need somebody like Cody's character. Now, with that being said, what I feel like is going on with Brock Lesnar, it's a David versus Goliath situation, right? And again, Cody said it. He goes, I beat you once, you beat me once. 2 out of 3, we got to do it again. And I want to say I guarantee, because WWE always does surprise me sometimes, because we all thought he was going to take the title off of Roman. They need to build Cody up to be like, not that anti-hero, but like that somebody's always getting their ass beat, somebody that you want to root for. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's his character. I think that's going to have him be. They're going to have him be that beat up hero. You know what I mean? That beat up hero that, maybe he might not win them all, but he wins when it matters. And I think, like, going back to what somebody said, I forget a while back, the Bloodline storyline wasn't finished, and Cody was just kind of a stepping stone in that storyline, and I get that. So, and just the Bloodline storyline wasn't finished, and that's why he didn't get the title. I don't think it had anything to do with Cody, but I think that they're putting Cody up against the Monster to see if he, so he beats the Monster. So we have some more buy-in with Cody. But I'm a little bit opposite, man. Like I'm not hating on Cody these days. I'm liking him.
Oh no, I don't hate Cody either, but for me, I think the whole thing is that all of this, and this is just my conspiracy theory, I think this entire storyline with Brock was written before. This was going to be the end game, because I think the entire plan was Cody unseats Roman at Mania, and then the night after, Brock attacks him. And the reason why is exactly what they said when Brock initially came together with Cody for the tag match the night after Mania. Roman has the belt, which means Brock can't challenge him anymore. Cody wins the belt, Brock can challenge for the title again. I think that was the entire end game. This entire feud was built around the idea that Cody was winning at Mania, and Vince pulls the last minute and says, no, I want Roman to win. And Triple H has all of this month of storyline planned out between Cody and Brock. Cody and Brock fighting for the title. Because the entire thing that's gone on now with the Bloodline and Roman, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, that all would have been done without the title, because it doesn't need the title.
Right.
Cody wins the title at Mania, and then he challenges. And then Brock comes in and says, "Ooh, I can finally go after you again, mine." And he goes after Cody. That to me was Triple H's game plan until Vince overrode him the day of Mania. But because he had already written out all of this, 3-4 months worth of storylines, which
right.
Keep losing him.
Title, because it's still on Roman, but the whole thing was built on Brock and Cody fighting each other.
Right. True that. I can 100% see Vince's monkey ass coming in and screwing up everything, so I can understand that.
He screwed over the night after Mania. I mean, we know everything that's gone on.
Yeah.
All we have to do is just look at that Seth segment, and that right there will tell you everything you need to know that Vince was screwed.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to point out about Cody Rhodes is, because you mentioned, he should have just stayed in AEW. He still brings, like, AEW, like, he'll still mention shit about AEW at the house shows. And I'm like, dude, get over it, man. Because, like, it was the one that was here in New Mexico a couple months ago, and it was Cody Rhodes, what was it? Cody Rhodes, Riddle, I forgot who it was, but it was literally a trios match, and they won, and he goes, look, this is the first time we've all wrestled together in a trios. I now claim us the new trios champion. How about we get one of those in this business? And I'm like, dude, just stop living in the life of AEW. You're in WWE now.
Oh, shit, that's pitiful. So, speaking of which, the bootleg bloodline, Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus the deserving tag team champions of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Just seeing Sami Zayn come out there and talk to his peoples, I was happy for him about that, because he's been trying to get back over there forever, and he finally could go back over there and see his relatives and perform in front of his family members. So I was happy for that. This match was more so about the story than the actual match itself. The match was pretty good, but the story was all that this joint was about. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I was just happy to see Jimmy Uso kick the hell out of Roman Reigns in the face, because I've been wanting to do that since I've been watching that fool on television. I've been wanting to kick him in the face then. So, Jimmy, I was happy that he did that shit. So, I see we lost Donnie. So,
We'll see what
dial
happens.
up internet.
I know.
There we go. He back. So, Ro, we'll start you off. Well, how you feel about this match?
It was an okay match. I was glad that Roman lost. Like, I knew he wasn't gonna win and have all of the belts. But the moment that freaking Jimmy got him and kicked him, we literally everyone in my house went, oh my gosh, and then they did it again, and we were just like big smiles on our face. We were like, yes, like fucking finally.
Yeah.
Although it's like him and Jay are switching roles, because Jay at first was the one that didn't want to be with Roman, and then Jimmy's the one that talked him into it, and now they're switching roles, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, especially after Friday night, from the clips I saw. So, Aaron.
Like they said, the storyline isn't over yet, and I like how they're having like their civil war now, right? There's nobody on the outside like fucking with them now. They're fucking with each other, which allows Kevin Owens and Sammy to do what they're doing, to dominate the tag team division, create new storylines with other people. Because come on, the Bloodline storyline's been the hottest thing going for a long time. And whether or not you like Roman Reigns or hate him, and I fucking don't like him myself, I mean, he makes me hate him, which is good. So maybe he's doing his job. I don't know, but I like where it's going. They're having their little feud, and we'll see where it goes. I didn't mind the match, but the match was just it was just a stepping stone to get him to fucking kick him in the face twice. That's all it was. It was just for the Usos to fuck over the rest of the Bloodline. And, they don't have anybody else in the weights right now to join the Bloodline. It looks like it's just Solo and a Roman right now, and Paul Heyman. And then you got them other two. So they're split up. But hey, who knows where it goes? You know what I mean? And Roman's fucking belt is stupid. All right, just have it.
Yeah. Donnie, you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, overall, it was an okay match. I mean, it was a serviceable headliner. I mean, we were saying it a few minutes earlier. I completely think the entire plan was not to have the belt on Roman this entire time. I don't think this Civil War thing needs the belt. I don't think Roman he's even defending this thing until Money in the Bank. I mean, I think that's just a given. I mean, SummerSlam is probably going to be the next time that he actually comes out and says he's going to defend one of the titles. So, I mean, why is the belt even on him at this point? But that aside, I think the breakup is necessary. I think it's been teased enough to where the inner turmoil comes off as necessary. I question why Jimmy was the one to do it, because I always thought Jay was the one that was going to do the turn, because he was always the one that was, he was always the one that seemed the most obvious to do it. He was always like the least likely to fall in line. Jimmy was the first one to fall in line. We always forget that. When Roman first started it, Jimmy was the one that came in line, and Jay was the one that didn't want to. And then he ended up getting beat into submission to do it. So I thought him being the one to be the first to break free, and the first one to break free, I thought that one would have made more sense. Because Jimmy hasn't really been treated as like this disobedient, or whatever term you want to use. He was never that kind of a person. He was always the one that was the first in line to protect the family. Because I remember at Rumble when Sammy attacked, Jimmy was the one that super kicked him almost immediately. Jay was the one that was like, oh my God, what happened? And Jimmy was like, instinctively, he was the one that went after Sammy. And yet he and Sammy were the two closest ones.
Right.
So he and Sammy were the ones that were like, tight. And then Jamie was, he had to convince Jay to go along with it. Like, the way that the story had always been, Jay was the one that had to be convinced to go along with it. So now why is Jimmy the first one to attack Roman when Jimmy was the one that was always by Roman's side to begin with? I think that part's a little confusing. And then like his disobedient thing, like the couple days before, he stands up when Roman says, don't do anything. Like all of this has just been kind of like out of the blue for some reason. Like it's not really it's not really like in Jimmy's character to do it. It would have been more obvious if it was Jay. I think I would have preferred Jay to do it. I don't mind that Jimmy did it. It's just, him doing it is the confusing part. But overall, I do like where it's going. Why is the belt on Roman? He doesn't need it for this. But I mean, that aside, the match was okay. I think the title defense on SmackDown was better. The one with Jimmy and Jay against Sammy and Kev, the title defense on SmackDown. I think that was a better match. But overall, I liked it. It ended the show on a nice note, and I mean, all of the praise in the world for Sammy for doing what he did, and I mean, God, what a moment when he did the intro in Arabic, I think.
Yeah, he did in his traditional Arab garb.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all the backstage clips of everybody reacting to that, and I mean, I'm kind of getting a little choked up thinking about that, just saying it. But outside of that, yeah, fun match, great way to end the night. Not, top to bottom, the perfect super card, but I think it was a fun show.
Right.
Cool. Yep.
Cool. So let's go to the main event of the weekend, to me and my eyes, AEW Double or Nothing.
Ugh.
So I really like the show.
I heard that.
They had some crappy kind of things in the show, but all in all, everything was done for a purpose and a reason. So that even makes even more sense, even though some of the shit didn't work out the way they wanted to. But we'll talk about that when we get there. I don't count the match that happened on the pre-show. Who cares about the damn pre-show shit?
Oh, you don't want to talk about how fucking Jeff fucking Hardy is fucking too old and botched like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Needs to retire already.
Yeah.
His body is giving up on him.
He pulled the
everything
Trish
he's done
Stratus of
to
this show.
himself and all the drugs and shit. His body's like, can you please stop? Just stop.
I don't want to run that man into the ground right now.
Can
coming back.
Can I say something? By the way, I was really hot for AEW when it came out, even for a few years. I even watched the whole pandemic and everything, and I don't know, somewhere along the way, they've really fallen off the radar for me, and I don't know what it is. I'm still having my hard time putting my finger on it, but I can tell you that if they want to compete with the WWE, they need to fucking polish their programming up big time. And I'm talking like, I'm not saying they need to be WWE clone, but their production is still shoddy. And I'm not saying that, and they got the money, but like, it's so like, it just seems like they're confused backstage and what's going on. And I know Willis said, hey, the storyline's getting set up and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, I just feel like the inmates are running the asylum. To me, it feels like 1999, 2000 WCW. Like, it's just so many people, so much talent, like badasses that were in fucking New Japan Pro Wrestling, some badasses that were in WWE, and it's just like they're fucking fish in the water. It's like, what are you doing with them? It just doesn't make sense. Anyways, go ahead. That's my goddamn soapbox.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the first match. They had a 21-man battle royal, blackjack battle royal for the AEW International title, the workhorse title of AEW. And everybody used to clown this man when he first started. Everybody thought he was a joke wrestler. Now he is actually one of the better wrestlers on the damn show, for real, to be honest with you, Orange Cassidy. And he survived. He all broken up, bad back, messed up hand, but he still won the damn Battle Royal against Swerve Strickland. So I got a feeling they've been building Cassidy up with all these wins. Him and Swerve is fighting this Wednesday coming up. I think Swerve might be the one that's going to end up taking the title off of Cassidy, especially since they basically had a match at the end of the Battle Royal. So, yeah, it kind of started off kind of funny because it wasn't like a traditional Battle Royal where everybody gets in the ring all the time and start beating up each other. They took their time because they all had their individual beefs and beating each other up outside of the ring before the Battle Royal. But yeah, all in all, this was a good start to do the pay-per-view. So that's just my feeling. So, RoRo.
I'm not big on AEW. Like, I watch it every once in a while, but I remember it's on and I want to watch and see what's going on. Like, I watched not all of this pay-per-view, but most of it. I keep forgetting how many, like, ex-WWE wrestlers are there. And when they had, what does he go by at AEW? Big Bill. I was like, isn't that Big Cass? And I looked, I was like, it is. Wait a moment. He's Big Bill now? All right. I was like laughing at that, and he's such a beast. And I love that it's the international title because, you know, it's kind of like the secondary title for the big one. And, you know, WWE is intercontinental title. Didn't it have a different name for a while?
All Atlantic.
All Atlantic. That's what it was. Because when I was watching it, I was like, wait, I thought that was something different. Because like I said, I don't watch AEW that much. Like every once in a while, I was like, I thought that was a different name. But I just love that it's, you know, it's named what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a good battle royal. Donnie, did you end up watching it?
Oh yeah, this was my favorite match on the card. I love this. Yeah, I really like what was going on here. I do like the idea of fighting on the fighting outside the ring and then taking it into the ring to finally, you know, be, you know, like officially entered. The Lucha stuff was fun. I absolutely love Penta and Phoenix. I mean, ever since I was a fan of Lucha Underground, those guys were big favorites of mine, and I've really, really, really like what they do in AEW. Adding Bandito and Commander is great fun. You know, you get Cage in there who's, you know, worked with them in Lucha Underground so he can handle, you know, fighting those flippy floppers or whatever they want to call them. I mean, you know, Swerve and, you know, he can handle himself. Jay White, Ricky Starks, you know, the list goes on and on. There are some great guys in there. I question why they kept Cassidy with the belt. I thought this was the perfect opportunity to take it off of him without damaging him too much. But I do like where they're going with the potential idea of him fighting it so much that he's being broken down, and that's what's going to end up doing his reign in. I can't say that I think Swerve and Keith Lee was going to be for the belt, because if Swerve wins, I think Lee's going to be right there on his tail. I can't see that being for the belt. I do think Cassidy's going to win, but I do want to say that I think he's dropping it at Wembley. I think Wembley is going to be the time he loses it. I don't know who. Maybe Pac wins it back, because I heard that he's coming back. He's finally healed up from his nose injury or something. I think because he broke it during the trios tournament with the Elite, right?
Yeah.
Because he came in. Yeah, because he came in like I think it was like the third or fourth match, and he had that huge cone on his face. He had that mask. So yeah, I think he ended up breaking it during that. So I think. I heard that he's about ready to come back, so I think he will probably the one to come back and win it, because he's, you know, homegrown. But yeah, I think Wembley is going to be the end of his reign. It'll depend on, you know, what happens there, but right. Yeah, I think it'll be I think it'll be Wembley when he finally drops it, because it's going to be in international territory anyway. So I mean, that'll make sense with the belt and all that. Like I said, just depends on who it is and how the match goes. But yeah, for this, I really liked it. Everybody got their spots in. Everybody had fun. Everybody worked well with each other. No real botches. No real complaints. Fun Final Four. I really liked what they did with that. Some nice intermingling stories. Starks with Bullet Club. Cage and Swerve fighting Keith Lee. It was just a fun match. I really liked this one, and it was a fantastic opener.
Mm-hmm. Did you see it, Aaron? Aaron. Virus.
Sorry. I had it on mute. I'm all talking. I'm all blah, 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 blah. Sorry, my bad. So, I did see it. I didn't mind it. Usually, Battle Royal matches are a big fucking mess for me. I think they're just really messy, and I've always been bugged by them. There's so much shit going on, I can't pay attention. I didn't mind this one. One thing, I'm glad Keith Lee stopped using eyeshadow in his beard, so that's been good, a good thing. There's a lot of talent in this ring, guys, and anybody could have taken this. Any one of these guys could have taken it, in my opinion. But I just kind of question, and again, it's my biggest bitch about AEW. There's no story behind Cassidy, just him winning. That's it.
The story with Cassidy right now is that he's been defending the title every week on the TV, and more he's getting beaten and broken up. He done messed up his hand. His back is messed up.
Yeah.
His shoulder's messed up. That's the story with him right now. He's fighting anybody that gets in the ring. He doesn't care who he fight. He's just getting in the ring and wrestle. And the more he's wrestling, the more he's getting broken up. So that's the story with him right now.
Yeah, it's not exactly an obvious one, but I know where Willis is coming from. I can see it. He's getting taped up. He's had, more bandages on him week after week. He's struggling to hit, his famous moves, and it's like an act of desperation to finally, pull off an orange punch or something. So, yeah, I do see that's, the storyline that they're doing. It's not an obvious one, but it's a pretty subtle one of him just being this, all-in fighting champion, just, taking open challenges week after week after week. It's finally wearing on him.
Yeah, so that's the story with him.
Yep,
so,
I got you.
So, that's about it. I didn't really care for the next match, Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho. The ending sucked. I don't know what they was thinking about that. I can understand what they're going with, especially with what they did on Wednesday night where Saraya came up and coming down in the match. But the ending was just trash, so it kind of took away from the whole match, and a waste of time bringing Sabu to come out there just to do one move, and then that was about it. So
I think that's pretty much all his body can handle at this point.
Yeah, so that was a waste of time. I mean, they wrestled solid, but the ending, and it seemed like Adam Cole didn't know what to do with the damn chain once he got a hold of it, and he looked like he could barely punch Chris Jericho in the face with the way he was punching it. So they kind of messed up that one. So who seen this match?
I did.
Okay,
the
how
whole
you
thing.
feel better? Oh, you watched the whole thing? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was fucking sucked.
Their second official one-on-one match together.
Yeah,
they just don't got a good. They just don't got a good. Look, Jericho's good for who he is, but man, he ain't fucking 25 no more. And
right.
And I'm not saying he sucks. He can pull off some of the moves, but he does need to change his wrestling style if he wants me to take him seriously. He's pulling off lion salts that he could barely do. He's slow, and I hate to be an ageist, but come on, dude. And look, he's not as bad as Hardy. I'll give him that. But Cole, my bitches about Cole.
Yeah.
My bitches about Cole. The guy needs to do a few cycles of steroids for me to take him seriously. But I don't know. It was a bummer, man. I was hoping up a lot more for this fucking match.
Same here. RoRo, did you watch it?
A little bit. I was watching it. I think I started to fall asleep during the match. I was watching it at I don't know, it was 10 o'clock at night or whatever. But my whole perspective altogether right now on AEW is, it reminds me of there's a bunch of kids, young kids, all these young kids are fighting, and then it's all the really old guys, and it's like, I don't know, it's just, it cracks me up seeing like these like older guys like Jericho and Keith Lee, and just they're all like, you know, they're on their 40s and 50s, and I'm like,
Keith Lee is only 32.
I
No,
thought
he's
he was
not.
older than that. No,
Yeah,
he's older
he's-
than that.
Yeah, Keith Lee is only about 32 years old. He's very young.
I thought he was in his 40s.
Oh.
But like in either case, like you get all these old guys or you got all the young kids, and it's like there's no in between, and it cracks me up. And Chris Jericho, he's still touring with his band in between all of these shows. They were here in New Mexico like 2 weeks ago
yeah.
on like a Monday, and then all of a sudden Wednesday he's wrestling, and so he's going back and forth from touring to wrestling and touring and wrestling, and he's just getting too old for it.
Donnie?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like I said, I think, one, this was way too early in the feud to, you know, immediately go straight to an unsanctioned match. I think they've only had, 2-3 months of interactions with each other, just going back and forth on the mic. So, I mean, the fact that they went so immediately to this stipulation kind of feels a little rushed, but yeah, the chemistry was just off. I think it's because Cole had to slow down to match Jericho, because Jericho can't match Cole.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, some of the stuff, it's not sloppy or anything, but it's like, you know, Cole has to obviously slow down. I mean, you know, you just have to look at the 2 booms that he hit. I mean, he doesn't even get like any speed off the ropes. It's like he's just like standing behind him, and he just like drop kicks behind him.
Right.
Like they didn't even look like they were like that damaging, and you know, like that's like the finishing sequence. But it's not that it's a sloppy match. It's just a disappointing one. I want to see this feud over now with the mixed tag match. You know, Britt and Adam won, so I think that I think that should end everything. And I sincerely hope that this gets Jericho off of TV for a while, because, one, stop looking like that and thinking you can pull off being shirtless in your 50s. I think that's probably one of the big things I want about them. You know, stop thinking you can pull off a shirtless look in the 50s if you look like that. But I'm done with seeing Jericho. I want him to be a special attraction now. And I think he's reached that status where he should be a special attraction, not a weekly occurrence. And I really want, if he's going to continue wrestling for another year or two, I want him to make sporadic appearances and let his lackeys do the talking for him. I think that was the whole point of bringing all these guys in to begin with. Mm-hmm. And it's not a bad match. It's just a disappointing one, and I really hope they're done with this now. So,
all right. Well, we're going to the tag team title match. I enjoyed this match, and for somebody that is a 50-year-old, I think he's in much better shape, and can move much better than Chris Jericho. It's Jeff Jarrett. He can still get over in the ring and go, because he ain't letting his body get all broken up and everything. And he still looks like fucking Jeff Jarrett from back in the day, just older in the face. That's about it. But I really had fun with this match with Mark Briscoe refereeing and not being a stupid referee like all the other referees on television. He had enough common sense to know what was going on because he was a wrestler, and they played that story well, so I was glad about that. And at times, I thought Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett might have pulled out a win, because as well as they told the story in there, so they had 4 good people in the ring that knew how to wrestle and knew how to put on a good tag team match. So I really enjoyed this match, and I enjoyed that Jeff Jarrett and them lost and FTR won, and Karen Jarrett cracked Aubrey Edwards over the head with the guitar, and I know a lot of fans was happy to see that, because some fans don't like the referee. So yeah, I enjoyed this match. So
rumor is she may be coming back to wrestle, so who knows what's going to happen with that. Who knows? But it was a fun match, man. It was all right. It wasn't too bad. I love FTR. I like Jeff Jarrett. I like Jay Lethal. Sanjay Dutt I fucking hate, but he wants me. I want to hate him. So he's annoying. He's doing his job. So not a bad match, man. Not a bad match at all.
Yep.
So I think I'm glad that the FTR retained their titles. I like them having their titles. Do you know what I mean? They need a better team to come and beat them. I want to see a storyline built up with those guys. They're good at telling storylines.
It will. They'll get their shine, especially probably on Collision. Donnie, what do you feel about this match?
Yeah, pretty much like Android. I don't hate it. I enjoyed it more than I thought it would because I can't stand Jarrett. But that's just a character thing, not a wrestling thing. I do like his in-ring work. I don't like the fact that Jeff Jarrett is still on my TV screens. And he was like one of the first guys I remember seeing when I first got into it. He was like one of the first guys I saw on TV, and he's still on my screens 30 years later. Yeah, old school formula. It always works. FTR is just on another level, and I absolutely love their work. You got enough interactions with Briscoe where he wasn't a hindrance. I thought him not knowing how to be a referee was was going to be a stalling point because there was a few instances where it looked like he was out of position for something, and he ended up getting like 1 or 2 on a pinfall attempt because everybody was like telling him, "Come on, get down, get down, get down." But yeah, it wasn't a bad match. Some unnecessary interference, which is expected with everybody that's involved in this feud. The Aubrey spot was fine. I like that it was Karen that did it because I wouldn't have known what to do if it was one of the others that did it. But yeah, overall fun match. Not great or anything, but FTR can move on now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing like another big tag team match. Hopefully, if Aussie Open come back when I think it's Mark.
Yeah, he hurt.
Yeah, Mark's the hurt one. So yeah, when they come back, I want to see FTR and Aussie Open in a big sprawling storyline for the belts. I think that's gonna be a fun time. But for this, yeah, not too bad, nothing special. Just a good old school throwback tag team match.
Right. Did you see this match, Ro?
I did not. I was watching it, but I wasn't paying attention.
Okay. Well, we could move on to that. So we have Wardlow versus Christian Cage. I ain't really care for this match. The only thing highlight out of this whole match was when Wardlow did the Swanton Bomb better than Jeff Hardy could do now. As big as he is, he could fly around the ring like he a fucking cruiserweight. But he need to be careful with that shit before he fucks himself up. But Christian, he's still good in the ring, but I'm just waiting for Luchasaurus versus Wardlow to wrestle more than anything else. And I'm still laughing at Arn Anderson barely can get in the ring. I was laughing at him biting on Luchasaurus' finger. That was funny as shit to me. So I would have did the same thing too if I was Arn Anderson. Old ass. I would have bit him in the damn thumb too. I wasn't gonna take no fucking another choke slam from him. So yeah. Yeah, it was what it was. It could have been better. It could have been worse. It was just there. So hopefully they do better with Wardlow with the TNT title. So, Aaron, did you see? Well, how you feel about this one?
It was okay. I'm not a big fan of Wardlow, and Christian has always been kind of the poor man's edge to me, kind of generic. I do like Luchasaurus. That was funny, the bite, but this was just like match for me. Like, it really was. It was just throwaway. Like, honestly, I fast forwarded pretty much this whole match to get to my girls match, Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm. I love them both, by the way. And I'm going to fast forward to that match real quick because I got to go like in 5 minutes. But anyways, the Jamie Hayter match, me and RoRo talked about this at work, and we're like, it was short because Jamie's hurt. You know what I mean? It had to be short. It wasn't like the Rhea Ripley and Natalya match. I love both of these girls. I'm kind of like where RoRo is with those other 2 characters in WWE. I love Jamie Hayter just because where she's came from, how she reinvented herself. She got in really good shape. Because if you remember her when AEW started, she was like not really in good shape. She was kind of like big girl, and she's like in such good shape right now. And I just give Toni Storm the fucking biggest props for walking out on WWE because of their stupid fucking storylines. Like, I give her huge props for that. And the girl can wrestle. Both these girls can wrestle. Don't mind seeing that fucking title on Toni Storm. And I love that she's a heel right now. So, and my favorite team was up next, the House of Black. Love these guys.
Right. So, basically, since RoRo ain't really see the show, I can move on. What do you feel about the women's match, Donnie?
Oh yeah, I think this is completely setting up for Jamie to win at Wembley. I think this is going to be. I think it would have been fine if they to do it now anyway, even without the injury. I think the injury just makes it like the storyline reason. Because I figured that Jamie would have won it back at Wembley. I think that would have been I think that's a better moment. I think that's gonna draw more people to it. Where if she's chasing for the belt at that show and wins it back in her home country, I think that's gonna be a good moment that Tony's too stupid to pass up. Yeah, as it is, I don't mind it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Storm and Hayter are great together. They're probably two of my favorites, like Android. Yeah, I do want to see them go at it again one more time, like the best of three, because Hayter originally won it off of Storm last year. So I think it'll be a fun time to go back once again and do the third match to put it into it. But I really hope we do something with this Outcast versus the original storyline, because I'm really just getting sick of it just being some amalgamation of Soho, Storm, and Saraya against Britt and Jamie. I think we either need to introduce some more girls or do something with that.
It came back and she's with Britt and them now.
Yeah, she does a nice one, but I think we need to make it a little bit bigger, or at least start targeting others.
See, what happened was once Monet got hurt, she was supposed to come in. That's what screwed everything up.
Yeah, because next up is Forbidden Door at the end of the month, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd like to check that out. So, real quick, guys, because I do got to go. I got to go to a birthday party. I'm sorry. You only have an hour. But real quick, I just wanted to go over, again, my favorite team, some of my favorite characters. I know RoRo is a big fan of Buddy Matthews, and I'm a huge fan of Black. Love him. Loved him in WWE. They really dropped the ball with him there. Blame that one on Vince. But again, great fucking match. These guys are just on the next level. Love them. All three of these guys could be future champs. So I'm glad that they have these titles on them. These are three dudes that Tony Khan is doing something with. And I hope he continues to do something with them in the future. The match itself was pretty decent. Anthony Bowens, Max Caster. And I'll tell you what, Daddy Ass, he still moves, man. He still got it.
Yeah.
I ain't going to lie. He's looking like Jeff Jarrett out there, not like broke down fucking Jeff Hardy. Or even just Chris Jericho. He's just got them genetics, man. But for me, it was a good match. Not a lot of story going into this match. There's some teases, but not a lot. But again, I like to see where House of Black goes with this. I don't know. Can't speak enough about these guys. So good fucking match. I think RoRo watched it too.
It right now.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta go. I love you guys.
All right.
I promise I will get this edited up like tomorrow.
All right.
Promise, RoRo.
Okay, whatever, Roman Reigns.
Okay.
See, he moving like Roman Reigns, rolling right back out. See?
Shut the fuck up. I have to go party. Bye. I told you assholes at 3. I'm running late. Bye.
No worries, man.
No worries. Bro,
I love it.
Did you see this match?
This is honestly the last match I actually watched.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of started falling asleep in between it, but okay. So like you said, I'm a big fan of Buddy. That's because he's fucking Rhea's other partner, other half. Like, he's good. I like him. He's really strong. He was talking about how he likes Malachi Black now, Aleister Black, and he was in WWE. Those two got released at the same time, and that was literally 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yesterday, because I saw it on Twitter. It was like they both got released. It was 2 years ago yesterday, and I'm like, they're doing amazing in AEW, and I love it. I don't watch AEW as much, but I just love that freaking line about freaking Buddy looking so ominous because he's getting over by whatever he said, fucking by
He's
Dominic.
getting cut by he's getting cut by a kid.
So I knew that he said that because like I didn't watch this pay-per-view until like Monday night, maybe Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all over Twitter, like, right away. And I was just like, oh, my gosh, that's freaking hilarious. I didn't say anything to my husband about it. And so I was waiting for my husband's response when he said that. And my husband was like, oh, my gosh. And I was just like, that's the most funniest thing ever is that, like, he brought that in there. And then Buddy just, like, stands there and just, like, doesn't know what to do. You can see that he's just like, what do I fucking, how do I react to this? Like that shit cracked me up. And then freaking they freaking tweeted afterwards, oh look, you're famous in 2 companies now. And she's like, yeah, look, Dom, I'm famous in 2 companies now. And then Buddy tweeted, yeah, look at you, or something about, what was it? It was like, yeah, you're famous in both companies now. They made you famous on their time. Awesome. And everyone took that as he's jealous of the whole, like,
I think he was capping on the Acclaimed more. I think it was capping on the Acclaimed.
It
more
was.
Than anything.
It was more cap on the Acclaimed that that they just did this on their time and now they're making you guys famous in 2 ends. But so many people on Twitter took that as, oh, he's just jealous. He's being a jealous boyfriend. He needs to learn that this is just storyline, yada yada yada. And Rhea even retweeted his tweet, and I'm like, right there proves that like it wasn't like a jealousy thing. And everyone's like, oh, he's just jealous, to the point where he deleted his tweet. And then everyone went, oh, he deleted his tweet 'cause he probably got yelled at by Rhea. I'm like, guys, like they know this is they're cool with their, like they're strong enough in their relationship. They know that like this shit's not real.
Right.
But that match, I love House of Black. Like they're dominating it right now. I don't see them losing the trios belt for a while, because those 3 are freaking like the best team together. Such a powerhouse. Such powerhouses, and that's all I can say.
Yeah, eventually people gonna start. They're gonna turn into baby faces. Eventually, that's gonna happen. Eventually, sooner or later. So yeah,
No, I can't see that House of Black being baby faces. I don't know.
It's they probably gonna still be the same. It's just that the way they carry themselves, people gonna just start.
I think it's gonna be more who they face rather than what they
face.
Right? Yeah, I think it's gonna be that they're just gonna go after like Jarrett and his cronies. And
I can see that.
I think that's probably going to be like the face turn. It's not going to be anything different. It's just, they're going to be facing like the varsity athletes or something.
Yeah.
Well, and like one thing that makes I'm not the AEW person here, but like everything is faction based in AEW. There's like everybody is in their own faction, their own group, and then they do their own shit. I'm like, is there anyone that's just a singles competitor that's not in a faction?
It's a lot of them. It's just that they took a lot of stuff from New Japan, because New Japan has a lot of factions in their roster. So that's the reason why they doing it like this. But yeah, we only got like 2 more. We only got like 3 more matches to go. So,
and this is where I'm out, because I didn't see any of the rest of the matches. I fell asleep and I was out. I was out after the House of Black match. So I've got to run too. I got to go pick up my son. He's going on vacation tomorrow with my parents, and so I've got to go pick him up from his biological dad's house, spend a little time with him before my mom comes and picks him up, because he's going to California for like a week and a half.
Oh, so shit. You recording? Are you recording too, Donnie?
Oh, am I recording?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm recording, so if I jump out, it's gonna... Well, I'll stay on. I'll just go pick up my son, and then if you guys are done, when you're done. But I'll stay on since I'm the one recording.
Okay. So, Donnie...
I'll just be muted, so I'll be walking away.
Okay. So, Donnie, since it's just me and you left, the last 2 in the Battle Royal, basically.
Last man standing.
Last man standing, basically. So we got Jay Cargill versus Ty Valkyrie for the TBS title. This was nice and short. This was Jay's best match, but the match was more. What happened after the match is more important than the match itself. But Jay finally clicked in the ring for what she good it is, this was her best match. And
Yeah. I think that just proves how good Taya really is, because
Yeah. she's
she's the only one that got anything remotely watchable out of Jade.
right.
It just kills me that it's not Taya that didn't do this. I mean, great for Chris. It was earmarked for her from the beginning. I mean, this is kind of like the second worst kept secret in AEW.
Yeah.
That the belt was Chris's to take from Jade. I would have wanted it to be more. I don't want to say that it was a great moment. I just wish that it wouldn't have been another one of those, hey, let's just do another, open challenge, like right after I just had this, 10-minute match with Taya, and then all of a sudden I'm going to challenge somebody else in the back after I just had this match. It's like, yeah, that just really feels stupid to me.
Well,
I understand why. I mean, Jade is kind of like the egotistical, stuck-up girl that thinks she can do it. But yeah, overall, I really wish that there would have been more build-up to it, because I mean, Chris coming back was kind of like, wait, that's her, because she looked a little bulkier than normal. Because I remember her being a little leaner and a little cutter than what she was. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's still like some of the rehab or something that she kind of bulked up a little. So it took me a second to realize it was her. But yeah, I mean, it just proves how good Taya is, because she's the only one that's made Jade look watchable. I mean, thank God this is done and over with. Yeah. Please just go get some charisma and some training and come back. And
she has charisma. She just needs her training up. But actually, she's going away for a while. Jade is.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think they're going to try maybe making her come back as like a baby face, which seems weird. But I'm just glad we're done with this. I'm glad we could move on. I do think that there is money in Taya Chris. I think that's going to be a great feud, and
right.
I think that's probably going to be where we're going for a while, because I think she was watching Chris and Nyla on Dynamite, right?
She was, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw that she was standing backstage in like one brief cutaway or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think her and Chris is going to be a good feud for the belt. I think that it would have probably even been better if it was Chris chasing Taya for the belt. I think that probably could have been even more fun. But even still, I think that's going to be, finally giving that thing a chance to shine. But yeah, I'm glad that we're done with this. And finally, let's give Taya some love.
Right. So we got the two main events. The 4 Pillars match. I fucking love this match. Everybody got a chance to show out. Everything was laid out great. Everybody got a chance to shine. And MJF won, being MJF, used his brains. And I like the way he won the match, because he took advantage of Darby always trying to go for that damn coffin drop. He set himself up. And what MJF said he was going to beat him with, he beat him with was a headlock takedown. So I was laughing my ass off at the end when he won this match. Sammy was doing good. Jungle Boy, he did the Bobo move when he didn't get a chance to hit Darby upside the belt. But that's in this character, so I didn't mind them doing that. Everybody got a chance to shine. So I have no complaint about anybody in this match at all. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. And they show why these are the 4 guys in the future that they will be using in AEW even more. So
yeah, completely agree. I had more fun with this than I thought, because I mean, this was, again, another open secret MJF was retaining, because no one is taking the belt off of him for a while.
Right.
But yeah, there was some great hope spots. I absolutely love Finisher Fest sequence, and to do it here with the way they did it, with everybody stealing their mentors' finishers. I think, Darby with the Scorpion Death Drop, and Jungle Boy with the Unprettier, and Guevara, I think he did, what was it, because he took one of Jericho's moves. I think
he did the code breaker, didn't he?
Yeah, he did the code breaker, right? Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. I'm a big sucker for those kinds of spots. Yeah, everybody gets their moves in. Everybody kind of has a chance to battle each other and take over. Congratulations on Sammy for knocking Ty up. What the fuck took you so long? I mean, good God, look at that thing. How did it take you this long to do that? But still.
And then we got one more match, the Anarchy in the ring, and I heard that they got some stuff cut back than what they originally wanted to do during the match.
I heard that too, that it was supposed to have gone, I think, an extra 10 more minutes. Because it was only 3 hours and 50. I think they were supposed to, I think they were trying to like a solid 4. And I think they ended up cutting back like a couple of the stuff because it was like for some safety hazards in the arena or something.
Yeah, they didn't want them to tear the place up like they did the last time. That's what was one of the main reasons why.
Yeah. But yeah, I had fun with this. Again, I'm another big lover of these kinds of just wild all over the place spot fest brawls, and this was fun. Some great stuff amongst the crowds. Everybody kind of got in control at some point. I don't know who the hell thought of that exploding shoe spot, but I mean, kudos, sir. That was crazy. I had no idea that thing was coming because he just loads up the super kick and just, all of a sudden there's this huge explosion and, pow. But yeah, it was fun. Love the use of thumbtacks. We don't see them that often. Great spot there. I don't know what to think of the Takeshita turn. I probably would have wanted him on TV a little bit more often coming into this because I almost forgot he was there for a few seconds, and then all of a sudden he pulls the thing down and it's him, and it's like, oh yeah, he's there because we haven't seen him for a couple of weeks. But yeah, overall I had fun with this. It was a great way to end the show. I think the BCC needed the win because they've been kind of bitched out a little the past few weeks, so I think this is kind of I think it was fine to, give them the win in this kind of a stipulation because I think next is Forbidden Door, and then I think next is Blood and Guts. Isn't that the order? Or
yeah, we don't know when or where they're going to do Blood and Guts at. So I was hoping by the time this was going to come around, they was going to have it here in DC because they coming back to the big arena, but I guess not.
Yeah.
So I guess they gonna probably do the Blood and Guts probably after Forbidden Door. I guess we'll have to see how they pull this off. But yeah, they was on this joint showing their ass. I was sitting there dying laughing, especially with the damn exploding Jordans. Some people was mad about that shit.
That was hysterical. That was hysterical. I loved it.
That shit had me laughing like I don't know what. And I was also laughing when they kicked the guy singing the song, because after a while that shit got annoying, but they did it at the first right spot. I was sitting there dying laughing.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was both the Young Bucks. They gave the guy the super kick.
Yeah.
So that was funny, and then you never heard them after that. But yeah, that was a fun spot. I really liked it.
Yeah, it had me dying laughing.
Oh, yeah, some fun stuff here. I mean, the one thing, and I'll say this, and this is the only thing that kind of kept me from naming this as like my favorite match of the night. The only thing I don't like was that the first half of the match, there was like one party was brawling in ringside, and one party was brawling in the crowd, and one party was brawling up on the ramp, and they were cutting like the camera crew was like cutting to like all of them at once, and you couldn't tell what was going on because trying to call spots and nobody's really knowing like what's going on. It was just kind of like it just felt like a little just like too chaotic, and it was like a genuinely like nobody knows what's going on, so let's just throw a camera at them. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad part of the segment, but it was just one of those where it's kind of like it just felt a little too disorganized for my taste. But
they should have had maybe like a split screen or a full screen. Everything was going on. Maybe they'll work that out better the next time they decide to do something like that. So we'll have to see, hopefully. But and
like I said, it was only in the beginning parts because it wasn't really after. It wasn't longer after that when they kind of like settled into the ring and they started doing their stuff there that it kind of just like dissipated. Because the only other one that was really fighting in the arena was Claudio and Mick, because they were the ones that he did the pile driver backstage.
Yeah.
Or he did the swing first, and then they did a brawl to the back in the car park, and he did the pile driver in the back of the truck, and that's when he got the exploding shoe. Because he came back out from that, and he had the exploding shoe on.
Yeah.
Because that was like the only other, like, after the beginning, that was kind of like the only real part of it that was like outside the arena, because everything else was kind of like contained to the ring. But that was kind of like the one real part of it. I mean, it wasn't a big detriment, but it was kind of a weird spot that just kind of was. It just took me a while to get adjusted to it, but thankfully it wasn't for the whole match, but it was just a weird little part at the beginning. But other than that, I had fun with it. It was great to, have some fun spots here. Just this wild over the top brawl. Everybody bled. What else was new?
Right.
But it was a fun way to end things.
Yep. So that's basically our reviews for both nights. So me and Donnie was the last two standing. So it is what it is. So maybe next time we'll just only have one show to talk about, and we can have everybody all in and being able to keep up with everything all at once. But we had a good time, and this is the Pro Wrestling Show.
The Wrestling Show.
You've been listening to the Intestinal Fortitude Podcast Network. Follow us on Twitter, _Fortitude, or on Instagram, The Intestinal Fortitude.